You are looking at the entrance to Whistler Village here in beautiful British Columbia. It's a sunny Sunday morning and I find myself here bright and early. It's actually about 7 o'clock and all the tourists haven't quite started filtering in yet. But I'm going to spend the next couple hours and kind of walk around the village and bring you along and just give you an idea as to what it would be like if you were walking the streets of Whistler Village yourself. And I'm going to also do a short excursion and do what's called the peak-to-peak experience, which is a wonderful gondola ride. So let's go and check out Whistler Village. Just inside the entrance to Whistler Village, you come across this beautiful Inuit icon called the Inukshuk. And this is a symbol that you'll see all through British Columbia. And in fact, I think this was a symbol throughout the Olympic theme here in 2010 when they had the Winter Games here. So I thought I'd share this with you. Let's go on and check out the village. To give you an idea as to how Whistler Village is laid out. So I am right up there on the right center where it says Village Center there. And it looks like they've got it divided up. They've got Village North and I guess Village Center and then Upper Village. So I'm going to take some time and just kind of walk along. I see they have different squares. They've got the Village Square and the Village Common and the Mountain Square and the Town Plaza, Marketplace, Olympic Plaza, and some other items of interest. So we'll go and take a tour. The visitor center isn't open yet, so normally I would do a walk through the visitor center, but we'll go check out the village. Alright, first stop on this tour of Whistler Village would be what's called Village North. And, you know, whereas I thought it would be a quiet Sunday morning, it's actually anything but. There's quite a bit of activity here, bright and early on this wonderful summer day here. And this is the spot where the Olympic rings are located. And, you know, interestingly enough, I find myself coming into Village North and there's a whole yoga thing going on. And I kind of walk you along and give you a nice experience. Right now they're using hula hoops, it would appear. So we'll go down and take a nice nice gander, if you will, if that's the right word, of the yoga going on here. Don't see a lot of guys here doing the yoga.
We're going to take the hoop against the small of the back. Again, find your center of gravity rooting low into the earth. And
I would think that if you wanted to meet women in Whistler, this would probably be a good place to start.
Good, and at first you can just release and feel. Don't feel like you have to move right away or that you have to keep the hoop up.
Yoga Sunday morning
The goal is a new experience.
in Whistler.
The goal is to play a little bit or, you know, find a different movement style or edge in our bodies. So that's going to take some time.
So let's continue on with the tour.
A different rhythm.
Well, as you might guess, I made my way to the Olympic Plaza here in Whistler Village, and this is actually what I believe is called Village North. So I thought that I would have the better part of the village to myself on a early Sunday morning, but I was wrong. There's quite a bit of activity going on here, and people just kind of walking around with their morning coffee and getting ready for a day's activities, which would include hiking and biking. And just beyond the rings there, you can see they're actually doing yoga. So I'm going to do a nice little walk through the village area here. This is called Village North, and I'll share with you the different activities that you might see going on here, to include the yoga. So right now they're using the hoops. I think this is yoga. I could be mistaken. And I don't see any men down there doing this this yoga. So this would probably be a good place to meet a lady. You know, if you're a single guy and you're living here in Whistler, you'd probably want to come here on Sunday mornings. Maybe this would be a good spot to meet a woman. All right, so let's continue on with the tour. They call that yoga slackers. not a lot of, they don't, interestingly enough, it's laid out a little bit differently here than it is in Banff, for example, whereas Banff you take your car and drive down the main street. Here you actually you park your car in what they call day lots, and you just walk through the village. So it's a really a nice atmosphere, as you can see. I'd imagine here in another couple hours that it's going to be rather busy. So we'll walk our way down. Now, in addition to the yoga slackers that they've got going on here, come over and you see they've got these ropes, and these people will actually tightrope, if you will. Here's a gentleman with a unicycle. I always like when I see a guy with a unicycle, they can't imagine that I can ride one, and I always surprise them when I get on the unicycle and take it for a ride. Here is another sculpture. You can see a couple guys just kind of sitting here enjoying their Sunday morning. Who knows, maybe these guys are hoping to meet a lady, and that's why they found their way down here. Over here you have another, I don't know what you call this. I'm sure those of you watching this video would probably know. They've got a whole setup here where I guess it's called aerial yoga. So if I'm not mistaken, I think that they hang from these slings. And they haven't started the class quite yet, but they'll hang from these slings and do aerial yoga. It looks like here's a lady that's getting fitted for her sling. And here you've got, not quite sure what this is, a dome set up for something. They might be having a festival here today. Alright, so let's continue on with the tour. You can see here they've got it set up: gold zone, orange zone, red zone, green zone, etc. Really is a nice place. Here's yet another sculpture here. Vancouver 2010. There you see it. Here they've got a nice fire pit where I'm sure they enjoy that in the winter time. And over here you have a nice totem pole and looks like a children's play area. All right, let's go see the rest of Whistler Village. Continuing on in Village North, I come into the Town Plaza neighborhood, and this right here is a sculpture that greets you, called the Timeless Circle sculpture. So you can see it's got a bunch of faces on the sculpture. And then as I continue along, there's a nice water fountain right here, if you will. Really a nice setting. Alright, so continuing along, this is actually what's known as the village stroll, and you can see really scenic. Here's a shot at the same waterway from the other side. So I am still in what's called Village North, and this is the village stroll that I found myself upon. Interestingly enough, there is a rather large event happening here this weekend called Wonderlust, and it is I think it's an international yoga event, and people are coming from all around the world to attend this particular venue of Wonderlust. If I'm not mistaken, it's a traveling yoga event, and they have the event happening in various cities around the world. Could be mistaken, it might be limited to Canada, but nonetheless, it's a big event, so there's a lot of yoga activities going on this particular weekend. And it would appear I found myself to a nice square here along the village stroll. Here's the Eagle Lodge. I would imagine it would be quite a different scene here in the wintertime. I would imagine also that it's decorated beautifully for Christmas. Really popular international tour destination. And just up ahead you see a large banner that says Wonderlust Whistler. Alright, I made my way into what is known as the village center, and you can see the amount of traffic is definitely picked up. You know, interestingly enough, the weather is changing rather quickly, and I say that because the weather when I pulled up was really nice and sunny, and now it's become quite a bit cooler. Definitely a lot cooler, and clouds are starting to come in as I come across one of my worldwide satellite offices, also known as Starbucks. Really is a nice place. Got a nice movie cinema here. A lot of bikers. I see a lot of bikers here, mountain bikers. Trying to find my way down to the gondolas to go up to Whistler Mountain. And just up a ways, this is the village square here. And I believe, alright, here's yet another view. And as I walk along, I'm trying to find the gondola ride. And the gondola ride would be taking me up to, I believe, what's called Whistler Mountain, which would make sense as I'm in the village of Whistler. So you can see here there's some serious mountain bikers coming through all around Whistler. You see folks with their bikes. It must be a really good spot to do mountain biking. All types of shops here as well. I would imagine this would be an incredible place to come and spend a few days if you're into mountain biking, or in the winter you're into snow sports. So let's continue walking along, see if we can't find the gondola. So far I think I've counted 4 Starbucks as I've been walking through the Whistler area. A lot of accommodations here. Here we're coming on to Carleton Lodge. And there I have my sightings of some gondolas just off in the distance there. And this is what's called the Grove. See people kind of set up in some Interesting looking shaped buildings here. Well, the yoga crowd certainly is an interesting crowd for sure. A lot of very health conscious individuals. And here is a gondola that'll take you to Blackcomb Mountain. So I'm looking for the peak-to-peak experience. Alright, so I made my way to what is known as Skiers Plaza. And this is where you will pick up the gondolas to take you up to, I see Whistler Mountain over there in the distance, and here is Blackcomb Mountain. So we're going to just take a little walk, and this will, for all intent and purpose, complete my tour of Whistler Village. And I will actually do a separate video of my trip up the mountain. But for right now, I'm just going to take you through the Skiers Plaza. I can imagine this would be quite a different scene in the winter time. You see all the mountain bikes here. A lot of mountain bike riders here, and I can see them coming down off the trail right over here. Really is a nice place. I would imagine if you are into the outdoors, skiing and biking and hiking, that this would be a absolute paradise. Alright, so hope you enjoyed the short tour of Whistler Village here in beautiful British Columbia. This is the view you'll see on the way to Upper Village here in Whistler, and quite a beautiful view at that. A river coming down out of the mountains. So I'm just a short distance from the Upper Village, and we'll be there here in a moment. You are looking at the Upper Village, and interestingly enough, this particular spot is really bustling. There seems to be a market going on here with people selling all types of food and gifts. So what a great opportunity. Here you see a Ukrainian bakery, and I'll just kind of continue walking through the crowd here. Gentleman sampling some wine. Here you can get some Thai food. You want some Thai? Who doesn't love chocolate? There's chocolate right here. Really a nice surprise to stumble across something like this. Organic blueberries. No shortage of blueberries in British Columbia. So I'll find myself something to eat here. This is actually the spot where I'll be starting my trip, the peak-to-peak experience here in Whistler. And over here, looks like they have some activities where you can do a, looks like a bungee jump. Some folks playing checkers over here. And this is the ski lift to Blackcomb Mountain, and as you can see, the sign says access to peak to peak. So I bought a ticket for that. It's $59 Canadian, which probably be about $45 to $50 American. So we're going to do the peak to peak here in just a moment. Here's some folks doing the bungee jump. Under 80 pounds to the left and over 60 pounds to the right, so no question as to which direction I would take. Here you can do bear viewing. Here's a diagram of the lifts, and you can see the open lifts there are in the green. So I'm at looks like I'm down by Wizard, the green in the lower left, and I'm going to go up to looks like Jersey Cream and then do the peak to peak. And there's actually a spot over there where it says the peak. I don't know if I'll have time to fit that in today, but really a nice spot. There's some folks having fun in some large bubbles. It's called Kiss the Sky Beach. And if you'd like to, you can actually play some miniature golf. So this would be the Upper Village in Banff. Sure does smell good, that's for sure. Alright, let's go see the rest of Whistler Village.